Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge. Construction of the bridge. It crosses the Wupper Valley between Remscheid and Solingen at a height of 107 meters. The steel town of Remscheid and the blade town of Solingen demanded a direct rail connection in 1886. Only 8 kilometers apart as the crow flies, they were separated by the cut in the Wupper, and trains between the two cities had to take a 44-kilometer detour. In 1890, the Prussian Parliament in Berlin approved the construction of the bridge. Construction of the bridge began in 1894 according to plans by Anton Riepel, 1852 to 1926, who later became General Director of MAN. He constructed an arched bridge that was built in a cantilever from both sides of the Monkston Wuppertal, which was considered a world sensation and greatly enhanced the reputation of German engineering. Whether the two halves would fit together perfectly was the big question. First, however, a railroad line had to be built to supply the bridge construction site. It led via Meijen and Windfeln, where the first bridge structure was built, to Scharberg. The storage area for the bridge components was built there. They were brought here by rail and had a total weight of 4,000 tons. The construction was a pioneering achievement at the time. Two 42-ton cranes stood at each end of the arch, but the work on the workpieces at dizzying heights had to be carried out by workers. This was particularly dangerous because the work was carried out during the winter months. Treacherous downdraughts and icy frost hindered progress, but could not stop it. In March 1897, despite violent and icy storms, the two halves of the arch moved inexorably towards each other. 6 workers died during those weeks. On March 22, 1897, the topping out ceremony was celebrated and the last of 950,000 rivets was hammered in. The bridge cost 2,646,386 Reichsmarks and 25 Pfennigs. The load tests followed. 6 freight trains with 40 gravel wagons, weighing a total of 955 tons, rolled onto the bridge. It held.
And so, on July 15, 1897, the Royal Prussian court train was able to arrive and cross the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge safely.
Consecration of the bridge.
The consecration of the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge on July 15, 1897. Prince Friedrich Leopold of Prussia arrived in Wuppertal on the eve of the day of the celebration as a representative of Kaiser Wilhelm II. On Thursday morning, the prince and his entourage arrived in Solingen at 10 a.m., where he was greeted by the mayor at Sudbahnhof, which later became the main train station. A special train took the party to the giant bridge where they met the Remscheid delegation. The bridge was given the name Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge in a ceremony framed by song recitals by the Solingen Sangebund and the Remscheider Liedertafel. It was named after Kaiser Wilhelm I, which often led to confusion in the following years. Afterwards, the special train continued to Remscheid main station. Music accompanied the procession through the town to the Concordia Festival venue, with clubs and school children standing guard along the entire route. Breakfast was served in the Concordia at 12:30 p.m. A festive greeting, singing performances, and a toast to His Royal Highness rounded off the program.
At 2 p.m., Prince Friedrich Leopold and his entourage drove to the Remscheid Dam. This was inaugurated in 1891 and is regarded as the first German drinking water dam. Coffee and singing were also on the program here. The party then drove on to Monkston to view the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge from the valley. After a short stop, the party continued via Krahenhoe to the city centre of Solingen, where the prince arrived at the Kaisersaal on Mühlenplatz at 5:15 p.m. At the end of the festivities, the grand banquet began at 5:30 p.m. in the festively decorated Kaisersaal, accompanied by table music. It was not until 2 years after the opening of the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge that Kaiser Wilhelm II came to the Bergisches Land on August 12, 1899. Visit by Kaiser Wilhelm II. The emperor arrived late. It was not until 2 years after the opening of the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge that Kaiser Wilhelm II came to the Bergisches Land on August 12, 1899. After arriving at Solingen station, the guests first traveled to the above-mentioned bridge and then on to Schloss Berg. Two years ago, the Monkston Bridge had been completed. Now Wilhelm himself stood on the bridge and let his gaze wander with satisfaction over the mountain ranges and graceful valleys of our Bergisches Land, so rich in romance and natural poetry. So it was reported. The emperor visits Berg Castle. It was a big, very special day for Berg Castle. At the invitation of the district administrator, Kaiser Wilhelm II decided to make a detour to Berg Castle to inspect the extensive reconstruction work. It was only a flying visit of around half an hour to Berg Castle, the reconstruction of which had not yet been completed at the time. He provided 20,000 marks from his disposition fund for the reconstruction. Thousands of people stood waving flags along the roadsides from Berg railroad station up to the festively decorated castle just to see the emperor once. And the emperor was impressed. "I have received many a great reception, but never before has the enthusiasm been as heartfelt as here," Wilhelm noted after his visit. Afterwards, the arrival of the guests of honor at Remscheid main station and the carriage ride to the Concordia restaurant on Bismarckstrasse were on the schedule. This was followed by a parade through Remscheid and the onward journey to the Remscheid Dam. The Remscheid Dam, which is now called the Eschbach Dam, was the first drinking water dam in Germany, and the distinguished guest wanted to take a look at it. They arrived back at Solingen Südbahnhof in the late afternoon. The procession made its way to Mühlenplatz. A banquet was held in the Kaisersaal of the Bayerischhof in Solingen at the end of the day. In the evening, Kaiser Wilhelm II's visit to the Burgist region ended with the departure of the guests on the special trains. Until 1918, today's Monkston Bridge was known as the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge. At the end of the German Empire, it was named after the settlement of Monkston, which was located north of the bridge in the bend of today's main road on the eastern bank of the Napoleon Bridge, and whose last houses were demolished in the 1960s when the main road was widened. Everything has an end, and so does this movie. As always, I hope you enjoyed it a little, and I'll see you sometime. Bye bye.